All right, we're going live on YouTube. So
I'm out.
If you are in a witness protection program, if you are wanted in any municipality, I recommend you leave the call or turn off your camera.
Yeah, that's to you, Chuck. There you go.
Okay. All right.
Wait, well, now we see Chuck's face even better than it was. Well, that didn't work out very well.
I know, right? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, sorry about the technical difficulties. But
yeah, I'm glad you could get it together for us. Wow.
Jeez. It's crazy. Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the FunnelFlow Mastermind. Today we are talking about frameworks. And what's that you said? Did I hear a question? What's a framework? All right. A framework is never buy a tripod off Amazon. They are freaking worthless. Just as an aside. Okay. So a framework is, as Russell Brunson calls it, a we'll say method. Yeah, right. Andrew, what do you think? All right. Well, let's try this again next week. Okay. Method to repeatable results. Let me ask you a question. Scott, what do clients want most?
Results.
Thank you. All right.
Yes, nailed it.
Got it. And how did you know that, Scott? How did you know?
Because you've beaten it into me, I guess.
And I sent the email yesterday, which said exactly that. So I'm kind of reinforcing this. So this is the goal. This is what clients want. This is the path. The path. Okay. Results. This is them. They're sad. Okay. This is you. You're like, hey, follow me. Okay, so they want this, and they don't know the direction of this path. You do. You've done it before. You've achieved the results, right? So how do you instill confidence into your client that this is possible? Any thoughts, any feedback? We're going to go to you, Eric, because you're new here.
All right. So I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Okay. So in our marketing, in our messaging, we are trying to say, I can help you, right? If you look at anybody's social media bio, they'll say something like, I help X achieve X through X.
Right.
Right. That's kind of the new thing, like on LinkedIn. You just go to any LinkedIn profile, anybody who's spent 5 minutes optimizing their profile, and they'll say something like, I help X. So this is X achieve Y through Z.
Right.
Okay. So that's the formula. That's they're describing their framework. I help course creators. I help experts create courses through strategic. I don't know what you do. So that's the formula. Okay.
Right.
So I forgot what my question is, but how do you communicate to your client, your ideal client, right? So this is dream client. Now we can't help everybody, right? We don't have a framework to achieve results for everybody. I don't have a framework to help you get a six-pack abs. I don't have a six-pack, believe it or not. So I don't have a framework for that. But I can say with confidence, Eric, I can help you get more leads into your funnel. And you're like, okay, great. So this is the result, leads into funnel, right? This is you. You're like, I don't have leads into my funnel. I want leads. And then the way I communicate that, I'll just answer the question. It's I share with them the strategy, my framework, how I do that, right? And they identify with it. They kind of like read the recipe They see the map and they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense, right?
Right.
And there's a method to communicate that. And Russell Brunson taught it. I bought his Perfect Webinar Secrets little training, and he has this 4-step framework to teach frameworks. And we're going to go through that today. And the idea here is, what is a simple way you can communicate the path you achieve results? That makes sense? Now, we know in our head how we achieve results for people, okay? If we don't communicate the path and we simply say, follow me, they're like, the natural question, this is, how can you help me? How do we get there? This is on top of a mountain. This feels unattainable. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah.
This feels unattainable. The idea that, okay, let's say you had a product or a framework that in a weekend, if I spent a weekend with you in a workshop, you could extract my expertise, put it into a course format, and over the next 2 weeks, I could record that course and you would give me a tangible way to achieve that. To me, this is like creating a course. It feels insurmountable. It feels like too much, but you're like, no, it's not. There's an easy way to do that. Okay. But if you just simply say, hey, hire me and I'm going to get you this top of this mountain, I'd be like, what? I don't buy it. Right. That's too much. Okay. I'm out of shape. I can't climb that. I have no altitude tolerance. There's no way I can climb that hill. So what we have to do is we have to tell them the path. And that's the framework. We have to tell them how we're going to achieve that result. And it has to make sense to them, the strategy. Once they understand the strategy, they'll pay you for the tactics. Okay. Chuck, your thoughts on this? Because I know I've talked to you about this kind of stuff a lot before.
Yeah, no, I agree. People need to, you're breaking that false belief. Like I can't get to that mountain. I'm out of shape. You can't get me leads because I've tried this before, or I've been to counseling before and they didn't help my marriage. I'm still in the same spot. My wife hates me. Whatever that belief is. Well, that's why she left. Yeah. Right. Well, and she's got to make money to provide me for my life.
Okay. So
is that the answer you wanted?
Yeah, that's right. When we can communicate our path and it gives the client clarity, they will give you money. If there's confusion and no clarity, they won't give you money because they won't conceptualize how you're going to help them. Okay. Now, they may not have the ability to do the strategy on their own. That's why they're hiring you. You can share that strategy with them. They're like, okay, thanks, Eric. I'm going to go create a course on my own. That's fine. There'll be 10 other people behind them who will say, okay, I understand the strategy. You do it. What's happened for me over and over again is I communicate how I build offers. I communicate how I extract people's expertise, how I put that into a funnel. I'm kind of at the point. That's why I don't worry about charging for this call, even though I think it's valuable, is because what we do is talk about strategy here. We talk about the path here, and a lot of people will just say, you know what, you do it. You do it. Okay. Because once that clarity comes, then they're like, here, take my money. I want that result. So just you take care of it. Okay. I'm going to run my business. You run my marketing. So it's a pretty powerful thing. So who wants to go into this 4-step process to establish your framework and then use that in your social media, your sales pages, everywhere you communicate your message, even if you meet somebody at a networking event or at church and they're like, hey, what do you do? You can communicate this clearly and they're like, hey, let's book a call. All right. Who wants this?
Caleb, before you do that, I have a quick question, or maybe it's not too quick, but so I believe I have this framework that I've had for years, but all of a sudden now that I'm seeing it in this simplicity, I'm wondering if it's because the key thing that stuck up to me that you said is well, maybe I don't know if you said this or not, but it needs to kind of click, right? It has to be simple enough. Like the framework, if it's too complicated and they don't understand it, I guess it's that word clarity. Like it has to immediately click. It has to be like, oh, that totally makes sense. That should work. Like, I don't know all the details, but it should work because it makes sense. And so what's leading me to is this question, like, okay, I know I have a framework. I know I've said it many times. I can, walk people through it, but is it too complicated? Are people walking away being like, oh, I don't know if that can work?
Well,
You know what I
I'm going to
mean?
show you right now, and maybe this 4-step process that Russell Brunson taught me in perfectwebinarsecrets.com. It's $7. Go buy it today. It's an amazing training. So I don't take credit for this, but I've been applying it to my own business and I'm seeing how it works. So in the 4 steps, step number 4 is results. So they're going to, even if they don't fully understand the strategy, even if it's a little over their head, they're going to hear the results and they're going to be like, okay, I don't fully understand this, but it worked for this couple, it worked for that couple. Maybe it'll work for us. And I'll give you a shot, Scott. Okay. All right. So while I am prepping the board here, I just want to say, who here has the Marketing Secrets box set? Anybody? Eric, do you? You want it? Would you take it if I gave it to you?
Sure, yeah, I'd take it.
Okay. This is basically the marketing Bible. Now, this is the older version of Expert Secrets. I have my, thicker, newer version at home because I'm reading it, but just for visual here. This is basically the marketing Bible. Everything we're talking about here, he talks strategy and tactics here. And then this is a workbook where you can fill in the blanks and build out your offers and your copy and everything. So there's the Holy Bible. There's a book by Dale Carnegie, someone there. And then there's this in terms of must reads. So just as a little carrot, the next week, the person who gets the most live humans on this call, I'm going to buy one of these box sets for and ship it to your house. It's $129. Okay. And in the little box, FunnelFlowMastermind.com, there's a little referral box to say, hey, drop my name in there. It's super awesome. And selfishly, I want to get this box set. So if you're interested in that, invite a few humans. If they show up to the call and you win, this is yours. Carrying on. Same shameless self-promotion over.
It's a good one.
Okay. And sorry, if you get more than 5 people on the call, I'm going to buy you a new set of AirPods. Okay. There you go.
Does my mom count?
I don't care. I don't care who it is. Your mom, your grandma, your estranged uncle, just show up. Okay. I don't care. Right.
No pet dog, but humans are fine.
You
right?
could set up another computer in your other room and put a stuffed animal there. Right. And just, I don't care. Just, I want more people on the call. Okay.
Nice.
All right. So let me share with you my framework real quick, just to kind of illustrate the point. All right. So my framework to help people get results, I call it the MVM flywheel. Minimum viable marketing flywheel. Here's how it works. So if you understand your dream client, that's your dream client, and then we publish content that my dream client wants to know. We solve their problems. We help them achieve their goals. I help them, get over mental roadblocks. Whatever it is they're struggling with or want, that's what I publish content based on. You can go to funnelflow.io. My main sales page lays this out in detail. Publish, capture. On my publishing platforms, I'm going to be strategic about putting lead capture opportunities in my bios. So as I'm publishing, naturally people are interested in who's this guy talking. They're going to click into my profiles and they're going to click into my lead magnets. All right. I was on Clubhouse yesterday with Eric. just trying to share value, trying to share my frameworks, just trying to add value to the call. I personally invited Eric, but he's kind of here as a result of that. I had another gentleman who was on that Clubhouse call, click into my bio. I didn't tell him to, and he opted into this call, right? So I'm publishing, I'm out there, and I have an opportunity to capture people's information. Now, I only met that guy briefly on Clubhouse, right? And then we parted ways, but because of that, he's now in my flywheel, right? I got it, right? I just need to nurture him. Now, once I captured that lead, I want to nurture them. I want to get them to know, like, and trust me. All right. So we'll say know, like, trust. I do this through email follow-up. I do this through one-on-one. I do that through getting them on this call and continuing to add value to them, right? As they know, like, and trust me, they're going to eventually give me an opportunity to close them. That's my framework. That's how I achieve results. So as I help experts, consultants, and service providers get traction online, I make sure they have all this set up. And then they're going to start to see results. That's how I help people on top of that mountain. So instead of saying, hey, hire me, I'm going to help you get leads into your funnels. And they're like, I don't have a funnel. I don't know where I'm going to get the traffic. I've kind of addressed a lot of these issues, false beliefs in their mind through simply describing my framework.
It needs arrows.
Yeah. The arrows signify traffic. So as I publish, they're going to go traffic to my lead magnets. The lead magnets, it's traffic to my email list, etc. Now, they may not spin off and let me close them right away, but the idea with the flywheel is you gain momentum, right? There's this inertia to it. As you publish more, as you give more opportunities to capture, as you maybe send them, they opt into their third or fourth lead magnet from you. They show up on your third or fourth live call. Eventually, they're going to be like, they're going to get so much inertia on this merry-go-round, they're going to spin off and say, I need to hire you. I need your help. Okay. So that's my framework. Okay. And, and then here is the method in which we lay out our framework. All right. So we have learned. So this is the 4 steps. So this is Russell's framework for teaching frameworks. Get a pen out if you don't have one. Learned or earned. And I was hoping to have this done before the call, but I'm going to make a little mini course in my my LMS, and I will send out access to it where you'll have a worksheet for this, and you can build it out yourself. So learn to earn, the strategy, tactics, results. Great. So if you're taking notes, number 1 is learned or earned. I'm gonna explain to you these bullet points here in a minute. Strategy. Number 3 is tactics. Number 4 is results. Get a little sip of water. Okay, so the idea with the learned or earned, when you tell a story about how you learned or earned something, when I tell the story of how I learned, how I discovered the minimum viable marketing flywheel, it adds more value to my strategy. My story of how I learned the MVM flywheel is I started a junk removal business with a friend in 2017, and I didn't really know strategically what I was doing, but what I ended up doing was I made a simple landing page. You can call it an opt-in funnel, where people could opt in to get a free quote. And I published ads. So publish, capture, nurture. So I published ads. I captured their info on a opt-in funnel, and I nurtured them with a one-on-one call. So I called them, I answered their questions, I talked through our process, I got them to know, like, and trust us. And you can do that pretty quickly on a call if it's a pretty transactional type of service you provide. Like, do you have a truck? Do you have someone strong enough to load crap into the truck? Are you not a criminal? Oh, okay, I trust you. I will pay you to haul away my junk, right? If you have something a little bit more high ticket, a little more high finesse, I mean, this nurture process can take longer, but that was the basis of my marketing. And with that simple setup, we scaled it to over 6 figures in less than 10 months. Now, prior to that, we didn't have any of this. All we were doing was we were fighting over third-party leads through Yelp and through Thumbtack. And so nobody likes that. All right, so we would get a notification, say, hey, someone wants a junk removal company. And we didn't have publish or capture. All we were doing was trying to nurture a lead that other people were nurturing as well. And we had, we landed a few deals. We had some initial success with that, just I think by chance, but it wasn't growing. It wasn't scaling. Once we implemented our flywheel, we had predictable income of $10,000 to $12,000 per month. Okay, so now I just told you the story of how I learned or earned that. Does my MVM flywheel have more value? Does it hold more weight now that you know that story? Okay, Jason, how did you learn or earn the method to get people out of back pain? Tell me.
I went to school and I've practiced it.
For how long?
For 20 years.
Okay, I would say you're an expert in helping people get out of back and neck pain, right? Eric, how did you learn or earn the method in which you help course creators create courses?
Well, first of all, I studied writing in college, so that's my degree. And then I've also worked with, influencers and that, and learned from them, and taking courses myself of how to write and build courses.
So could you give me a summarizing statement? How many years have you been writing? How many people have you helped?
How many years I've been writing? I've probably been writing somewhere between professionally 10 and 15. I can't say how many I've helped, probably up in the hundreds.
Okay, right. So when you talk about the strategy for creating courses, I'm going to listen to you. Right. But if you start in with the strategy, I'd be like, who's this guy? Right. Because the idea is we're bringing new people into our flywheel. We know what we can do. We know what results we can deliver, but they don't. So getting comfortable with this little origin story is super important, and just rattling it off. Hey, my name's Eric. I've been professionally writing for the last 10 to 15 years. I'm classically trained, and I've had the privilege of helping dozens and dozens of influencers and course creators extract their knowledge and turn it into an actionable course. Right? You could spit that out on Clubhouse, and it just elevates your game. They're like, okay, what does this guy have to say?
Right.
So strategy. What's the strategy? So this is my strategy. So I talked to you about my origin story, and now my strategy is we understand your dream client. So the strategy is the 1, 2, 3, 4. It's very simple. It's very high level. We're not going deep. We're not going into the nitty gritty. We're not taking them through deep thought exercises. We're saying, come over here. We'll say 1. So this is my framework. 1, dream client. We're going to understand your dream client, figure out what they want, figure out what they're trying to avoid. Step 1. Now, notice I'm not going into how we discover our dream client. We're not looking into tactics on client avatar discovery. We're not going there, right? That's in tactics. We're not going there yet. We're just saying, we understand your dream client. And my prospect goes, okay, understand that. You got to know who you're going after. So dream client, we're going to create strategic ways to capture. How are we going to get them into our flywheel? How are we going to capture that lead, right? So we're going to be setting up webinar funnels, squeeze page funnels, low ticket offers, a simple no-brainer way for them to say, hey, here's my email, here's my contact info, in exchange for something that helps them, going back to one, something that they want. Okay, once we capture their info, we're going to nurture them. We're going to get them to know, like, trust. KLT. We want them to know, like, and trust us. We want to add value to them. We want to get as many touch points in as possible, because we all know everybody's very busy and an online world is so distracting. But we got to get them to know, like, and trust us, because I'm not the only funnel guy. I'm not the only marketer out there. So I gotta add some value first. I want them to be lying in bed at night, looking at the ceiling, thinking about my framework, thinking about hiring me. That's my goal. Okay, so we need to nurture that lead, and then we need to give them an opportunity to close. Right. So we need to set up a strategic way when they're ready to raise their hand to hire me. Now, you may notice a lot of people doing stuff online, trying to get likes and followers, but they don't really clearly communicate how you can engage with them. They'll say something like DM me, book a meeting with me. And I'm like, what does that mean? Right. And talk about what? Are you going to pitch me a $20,000 package? I don't know if I'm ready for that yet, you know? But if that person invites me to a very defined webinar that I'm interested in, and he gives me a specific offer, I can know with clarity how I can engage with them, how I can hire them. So what we do on the agency side is we set you up with a very clear way for people to hire you. So there's specific funnels for that. So this is my framework. Okay, so that's the strategy. Now, the tactics are as follows. So we'll say dream client. Now, I'm not talking about tactics on social media. I'm not talking about tactics in these type of calls, all in depth. I mean, we may touch on it, but I can't go deep into all the different tactics surrounding this in a 60-minute call. Right? We can touch on it. The tactics dream client would be the avatar exercise. That's where we're going to go into my funnel scripts, and we're going to answer about 20 different questions about our dream client. It's going to generate a whole bunch of headlines, a whole bunch of topics that we can speak to about our dream client. Engagement hacking. So engagement hacking, this is where we're looking at other influencers in our space who are speaking to our dream clients. What are the most, what content are they interacting with the most? What's their best-selling products, right? So seeing what's working in the market for our dream clients and modeling that to our offers, right? So these are the tactics, and even within these, there's multiple subpoints. So that's part of my framework. But when I'm just communicating my message, I kind of leave out the tactics, right? I may touch on it, but I'm not going to go deep. Any thoughts on that or questions? No? And then lastly, results, right? So when we're talking about our frameworks, the results are just simply the results. So if you know, when I talk about the first step of my framework, the MVM flywheel, I talked about the background, how I had a junk removal business. And I talked about the results briefly, how we scaled it to over 6 figures, right? Then I said, okay, well, this is the strategy. I didn't realize it at the time, but this is what I was doing. But now this is how I help people achieve results. And now I talk about my results. So even just this week, I just wrote this down as a result of me working my flywheel. I've had 2 opt-ins to my funnel this week. Over the last month, I've given 2 sales proposals, and I've sent 1 invoice. Right? Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate that. Because I've been just working this plan. And so right now I have over $10,000 in pending contracts, upfront money because of this strategy. So that's the results, right? It speaks for itself. We could go into other people's results, but I'm only going to speak for myself right now. Okay. So when we are selling our framework, what we do is we leave out the tactics. So if we're on a webinar, if we're on an Instagram Live, if we're on a Clubhouse, if we're on Facebook, we're saying, hey, I'm Dr. Jason. I've been doing this for a long time. You kind of give your summarizing statement. Here's the best way to get out of neck pain today. We're going to go into the strategy. You need to do these stretches. You need chiropractic adjustment. You need to think about these supplements because if you're vitamin deficient in these areas, it's going to predispose you to muscle spasms, like magnesium or something like that. Okay, so that's the strategy. Now, you're not going to go deep into the stretching or how you adjust people's necks or what dose of magnesium to talk about. And you say, and as a result of this, my friend Caleb, he's a nurse. He was struggling with neck pain because he's always like this on his computer because he thinks he's an entrepreneur, or he's always pulling patients on the gurney. As a result of doing this, my friend Caleb, the nurse / marketer, he is now neck pain free. All right, and he's super happy about it. So it's pretty powerful. And then when he says, you know what, if you'd like to be neck pain free too, just a second. What you do is you sell the tactics and you say, hey, if you'd like to be neck pain free too, come into my office and we're going to work on these stretches. I'm going to set you up with these supplements and I'm going to give you an adjustment. So the tactics to achieve the strategy, you're going to sell them. And even if they don't fully understand the strategy, Scott, to answer your question from earlier, you focus on the results. So here's how I help restore someone's, my name is Scott Landis. I've been coaching couples for the last 10 years. Here's how I help couples regain intimacy. Step 1, you have to work through unforgiveness. Step 2, you have to commit to being the best version of yourself. Step 3, you need to commit to a weekly meeting. And step 4, you need to commit to a monthly date night. I'm just rattling off here. I don't know if this is your framework. And the result, Caleb and his wife started doing this strategy. And also in step 5, you need a coach who can help guide you through the hard times, who can inspire you, who can give you homework. And as a result, Caleb and his wife have completely revitalized their marriage as a result of this strategy. So now, if you would like to revitalize your marriage like Caleb did, take me up on my irresistible offer. And I'm going to go in deep on how to do each one of those things. And also, you're going to get monthly coaching involved. You're going to get monthly coaching as well. So you can stay inspired, stay on track, and achieve the marriage of your dreams. What are your thoughts on that, Scott?
It's good. I'm going to, I'm rethinking my framework. I mean, I have a framework for how I deliver, but the framework that I am going to use in selling is going to be different as a result of this.
Okay. So when you're selling your framework, you go 1, 2, 4, and you sell 3. So you tell how you learned it, you share the strategy, you share the results, and you say, can I make you an offer to achieve these results? I'm going to sell you number 3, the tactics. Right? In your fulfillment, you're walking them through the tactics. Either you do it with them, either they do it themselves and you're teaching them, you're coaching them. Or if you're a service provider, like I just said, you're kind of doing it for them. Right. So this works for any expert, any service provider. It doesn't matter if you're a junk removal company. The strategy could be, how do you clean out your messy garage? I go to my garage and I'm completely overwhelmed. Right? How do I sort through kids' toys, old clothes? Right? How do I know what to keep and what to throw away? Right? Well, there's a framework for that I could talk about if I were running a junk removal company again. Right? As opposed to just saying, hey, hire me and I'll load this truck full of your crap. But instead I share with them how I help them sort through their stuff. It kind of changes the game in terms of my selling. So let's do a thought exercise on a few frameworks and make this a little bit more tactical. So who wants to go? Who wants to flesh out their framework? We'll do a hot seat here for the next 10, 15 minutes.
My vote's for Eric.
New person.
Okay.
Something different.
Uh-oh,
Whoa.
he turned off
Yeah.
his camera.
Done.
Okay, sure.
Get some value out of this, right?
All right.
Okay.
We're all bored of each other, right, Chuck? We want the new guys information.
Wow.
I see how it is.
Yeah.
I see how it is.
Okay, let's start here with the result. So
Plus, we can learn more about what Eric does.
yeah, should we hire you, Eric? Tell us
Right?
why.
Yes,
Okay.
you should.
All right, we'll prove it. All right, so what's the result? What's the result you deliver for clients?
I help people. I help people amplify their brands and increase their online expertise by writing courses and other content for their sales funnels.
Cool.
Hey, you spelled my name right. I'm impressed.
I've spelled it wrong several times to get to
Yeah.
this point. And your last name, I had to like cut and paste because
Exactly.
too many T's, S-E-N, I was throwing me off.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So how did you learn or earn this? You said it earlier, but we're just for this exercise.
Absolutely. Well, I went to school for writing, as well as I went through different courses to learn this stuff, and worked with influencers to learn from them.
Okay, so we'll say you're classically trained. I always like it when people say that.
There you go.
Classically trained. You're a we'll just say you invested in, how much would you say you've invested in your personal education?
In my,
Like
when you-
courses, masterminds, events.
I'd be up in the several $1,000s. So
Okay,
yeah,
invested thousands in courses, coaching, and courses and coaching to hone my skills. Okay. And then thirdly, you talked about influencers.
yeah, I've worked with some influencers. So yeah.
All right. So you've developed, have you developed courses with influencers?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Um, the C with the dash above it is nursing shorthand for with. So forgive me. Develop courses with influencers and written content for countless blogs and various projects.
Yeah.
Okay. Blogs, etc. Okay. Hey, my name's Eric. I'm a classically trained writer, and over the last 10 plus years, I've not only become classically trained as a writer, but I've also invested thousands of dollars in my own coaching and courses to hone my skills and applying my knowledge. I have helped multiple influencers develop courses and written content that has been seen by hundreds of thousands of people in the online space. How's that sound? Is that accurate?
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds good. I like that.
Okay. All right. Well, that's your pitch now. Right. I want to hear it. I want to hear that on Clubhouse. And you can say that in just a boom, rattle that off.
There you go.
2, strategy. Now, I want a course. What's the strategy that you would take me through? If I said, Eric, here's $5,000, let's do a course. What are the steps we're going to be going through?
What are the, yeah. Step one would be I would need whatever content you have that you want included in the course, whether it's from your videos. So I would need content from you. And that step 2 would be to write an outline for the course. And then step 3 would be basically to get it approved by you, go over it with you, and then begin writing. And just it's a process of collaboration.
So when we talk about this in strategical terms, we'll say maybe content discovery. What do you got? What's in your hard drive? I met a guy at Men's Prayer the other day. I told him what I did, and he's like, "Oh, that's cool." And I showed him a course I made on my Podia using Casey Thornton's content. And he's like, I have over 60 hours of training videos that I need to get into a course, right? So you could just say, we figure out what you have already. You're probably already publishing. You're probably already doing things. But you just need help organizing them and adding a linear thought through it to connect all the different content pieces, right?
Yeah.
So step 1, we're gonna do content discovery. So content discovery, that was what you said. Now we're gonna, would you say like transcribe it essentially? So if I gave you a whole bunch of videos.
Not really transcribing, just going through and creating an outline.
Content discovery. What about content?
I mean, and what's that?
What about the term content distillation? So you have a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
and we want to boil it a little bit. Let the crap that you don't want to be front and center, because we all make crappy stuff when we're creating things.
Yeah, and I would actually put in between there, maybe move down that content distillation to C. I would put the second part would actually be just interviews with that person, like at least one interview to kind of find out what they want to say, who their target audience is, and that,
Like what their message is, maybe.
Yeah, what their brand message is, what they want to convey, yeah, the result they want to achieve.
What about messaging and impact? Who they're trying to talk and what they're trying to say and who they're trying to help.
Right. Yeah.
Is that on? Is that true to what you do?
Yeah.
Messaging and impact. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Messaging and impact. Okay, we're going to figure out your messaging. We're trying to figure out who you're trying to help. And we're going to see what content you have already that can do that. And based on what you're trying to communicate and who you're trying to help, we're going to distill your content that you already have or need to write. And we're going to lay that out.
Yeah.
So now content distillation,
Yeah.
content distillation. Right. We're going to let the good stuff rise to the top. That's going to be our outline. That's going to be our course notes. The stuff that's in the middle, that's the meat and the potatoes, and the stuff that you don't want really to communicate, we're just going to leave that in the vat, so to speak. It's a horrible analogy, but we're kind of getting the idea.
Right.
And then D, what was the fourth thing?
D, I mean, go through. I mean, if they want any revisions, approval, that I guess. But I mean, after D would just basically be writing the course, but that'd be more of a collaborative process because since it's a course, I mean, I've found that it's better not to write the entire course for them and then send it to them, but to write sections of it and kind of collaborate with them as you're continually writing. So
what about collaborate and publish?
There you go. I like that.
Collab, publish. Okay, so if I came to you with $5,000 and I said, let's do a course, use this framework to tell me what we're going to do right now.
Okay. Well, first of all, it starts out, I guess you could even put in a strategy call in there with them. But first of all, it starts out with.
That's tactics. So things like strategy calls,
Okay.
filling out this worksheet, that's the nitty gritty. Nobody cares about. That's implied.
Okay.
What's the strategy we're going to walk through?
Right. Okay. So first of all, I would need you to send me all the content that you want included in the course, and then we'll get on the phone I'll go through that content. We'll get on the phone for an interview just to discuss the flow of the course, what you want to say in the course, your target market, all that, and then I'll send you from there. I'm sorry. You look like you wanted to say something.
My internet totally glitched for 45 seconds. So I don't know if you could
did?
hear me. I couldn't hear you.
No.
So,
No,
all right, describe your framework, how you're going to help me.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll help you. I'll just take whatever content you have that you want included in the course, whether it's from past blogs, videos that you've done. I'll just take all that content and whatnot. We'll get on the phone for an interview and that, so I can learn about you, what you do, what you want to say, who you help, the results you want to achieve, and then from there I'll write an outline, and then we can get on another call. Then we can go over that outline, and then make any changes you want to make, or if it's good to go, you approve it. And then as far as the writing process, it's a collaborative process. In that, I'll send you sections rather than writing the whole course and then sending you the whole course. I'll send you sections of the course. So that way, as you're reviewing one section, I can begin writing the next section, and that, so it'll move along faster, and we can get it done faster.
Okay, that's a good first try. All I heard was one run-on sentence. So when we're describing a strategy, like Russell Brunson has multiple frameworks. You may have heard hook, story, offer,
Yeah.
or the value ladder, or now MVM flywheel, right? So we need like short things that they can identify with. Remember, we're in a Clubhouse stage. We're on an Instagram live, right? So we need short little chunks that they can hear. And if they want more, they can have a conversation with you. But this is a one-to-many pitch. So we're saying, okay, if you want, here's how I help experts and influencers create courses. I have a 4-step process. The first one, content discovery. We're going to figure out what you have. Step 2, messaging and impact. We're going to determine your impact, determine your message, and figure out who you're trying to help. Step 3, content distillation. So I'm saying the bullet points, and I'm just saying a few snippets of what we do, right? If I hear a run-on sentence, the brain is like, it can't digest all that. All right. And then 4, collaboration and publishing. We're going to work together to step-by-step take all that information and put it into course modules so you can start selling that course faster.
Right.
Right. I'm not picking on you. I just, if you kind of clarify that, people can identify that. Remember, a clear message will attract clients quickly. Right.
Right.
So that is your framework. All the tactics, the strategy calls, this worksheet, all that stuff. When you send them the proposal, you can have all that stuff in there, but we don't need to talk about that now.
Yeah.
And then number 4, results, just have 2 or 3 people in your mind, 2 or 3 case studies that you can rattle off really quickly. I helped so-and-so from this industry create a course, and now he has sold that course to 5,000 people.
Right.
I don't know. So just have a few of those case studies in your mind. So you can, it just validates this process. So people hear that and like, okay, it's a validated process. So
Yeah.
we're kind of out of time. Was that valuable? Was that helpful for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Okay. Let me send you a picture of this. All right. All right, I'll text that to you.
Yeah.
We are out of time. What are our takeaways for the day? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Having that framework, just being able to kind of really condense all of it down to one simple message is extremely valuable. And I was reading a little bit in the book about, like, he kind of introduced frameworks, but kind of looking at this kind of gives me some ideas about how I kind of do other things and how I use frameworks without even really calling it that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Jason.
Well, I thought I had a framework, which I have a framework for the operations of my business, but this shows me, I realized I don't have a good framework for sales. Well, but I think I do now because I was able to kind of capture it while we were talking. But I had it overcomplicated, and kind of like, you and Eric illustrated, like it's kind of hard to distill it down to the simple, like where they can just be like, oh, I get it, I want that. That's gonna fix it. It's kind of hard to get it down to that level. So this call definitely helped me with that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So having clarity in that framework so you can relay your message simply and quickly.
Eric, you get the last takeaway here.
I think for me, it was just communication as far as like, just when I'm talking, I think when I'm talking to people, make that pitch, communicating how to better communicate my value to them.
Awesome. Well, we're glad to have you here today. Just a reminder, bring your friends. If you bring the most, you're going to get this $129 box set, plus the new version of Expert Secrets. And if you bring in more than 5, I don't care if it's your mom or your sister, I'm going to buy you some fresh air pods because these get grimy. I mean, I have all kinds of earwax. It's gross. And next week, we're going to be talking about how we can take our framework and use this in every piece of sales messaging that we have. I'm talking your sales pages, your webinars, your social media posts, when you're on Clubhouse, giving your little spiel. Your framework becomes your message, and your message attracts your clients. That's good. I like that. All right. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to send a recap email today or tomorrow, which has the recording to this. So forward this to anybody who might be helpful. And also I'm going to attach a little worksheet that helps you lay out this framework for yourself. Okay.
Awesome.